Stereo. Doppler. Hey kids, it's another week for Voice of the Republic. This is Ed.
And this is Carl.
Cool. How you doing tonight?
Oh, not too shabby. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, and I want to send a special birthday wish out to Star Wars. You know who you are.
Nice.
It's like I saw that pop up online. I'm like, how the hell did I feel like I missed that? You know.
It's yeah, because I think everyone gets so caught up in May the 4th now that you overlook the obvious, which is when it debuted. So.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's kind of like when they celebrate people and personalities and some historical figures, but mostly like bullshit celebrities, like. Oh, it's a big day. Like, millions gathered at Graceland today for Elvis's birthday. He would have been blah, blah, blah. But, like a month or whenever later, it'll be like, thousands gathered at Graceland today to celebrate the death of Elvis Presley. I'm like, once isn't enough. Like, just pick one and make that one the awesome day.
Yeah, just kind of like I think John Lennon, he's kind of polarized. People have kind of like all gone to celebrating the day of his assassination now. So, I don't know. Because I don't ever remember people really saying, like, hey, it's John Lennon's birthday. It's always people being like, John Lennon's dead.
Yeah, the guy who, was more about, like, do something with your life. Imagine a greater world. Ask, more of yourself and people, not a Kennedy way, but like expand your consciousness. Don't settle for bullshit. Don't take it. Don't give it. And it's like, no, there's a day some kook killed him. Come on.
Yeah.
He's so much more than an insane celebrity or assassin's victim. I don't know. People.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk about shitty humans of the world this week, although we could.
No. Well, actually, we kind of are talking about a fictional shitty person.
Arguably, yes, someone no one would really want to be very close to.
Though tons of people on the internet will say otherwise. Because they can fix them. They know. They can relate to them. They can fix them. It's like me and like every girl I'm ever attracted to. I can fix her.
People.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this case, we are talking about one Sherlock Holmes, namely the BBC's runaway hit, Sherlock.
Yes, the modern retelling of the original Sherlock Holmes stories.
So, were you into Sherlock Holmes at all before, or what was your?
Oh no, I'm illiterate. I can't read.
Well, I know. Maybe you just watched it on TV, saw a picture book.
I've had some run-ins with him in other television and movie media. There's used to be on PBS. There was a really good Sherlock Holmes adaptation that they did, which was supposed to be really true to the books and everything. And I used to really like those. I also remember, this has nothing to do with the actual Sherlock Holmes, but the Young Sherlock Holmes, where ILM did the special effects for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I always loved that one growing up, though it's literally been decades since I've seen it. So it's probably awful, and I just don't remember it being awful, and I don't have the heart to go back and watch it.
Oh, that actually popped up either on Netflix or it may have been HBO Go several months back, and that's another one that I couldn't track it down for years, and I kept an eye out, but it just wasn't showing up, and I didn't want to pay for the DVD. But as long as we have things like Netflix, it's going to show up eventually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was up briefly, and I think it does hold up as far as being like a kid's adventure more than anything, but still, I mean, it's a Spielberg joint, so it's thoroughly entertaining.
I remember it being like slightly dark too. Like,
it is really dark.
I remember it being like sad and scary as a child, like being.
It's almost like Sherlock Holmes cross with Temple of Doom. It's very much along those lines. Yeah, it's cool. It's worth going back for. It's good
I'll have
times.
to go and track it down now. So.
Hmm. But yeah, I grew up with the old Sherlock, and my mom was into like old time radio, so they had this great Sherlock Holmes series for years and years. So I watched a lot of the old movies. The Basil Rathbone, like the ultimate movie Sherlock, like
Mhm.
almost indefinitely. So totally loved that. Totally loved his performance. But wow, what the direction that the BBC took with this new Sherlock was so unexpected. But it wasn't just the same old shit. But now he's go to Sally,
Mhm.
gets on the tube. No, it's not like that. It's pretty amazing, frankly.
Yeah, and they did a good job of not only adapting like the time frame, but the characters. Um, because you still have Dr. Watson being a military doctor, and that really plays out a lot in his character in Sherlock. Uh, but the fun thing is, though, is it's not, like he's not like the like foppish, like English officer.
Or like a doddering old guy.
Yeah, he's like a
Yeah,
guy that like he just came from Afghanistan a few years ago. It's like they did a
yeah.
really good job of modernizing like all the character around him, how he reacts to that world. The whole idea of him having post-traumatic stress in the first season, like I thought that was really a clever twist on it, like having him walk around with the cane and it's all psychosomatic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they did some really cool stuff with it when they adapted it, and then they also did a really good job of bringing Sherlock. Because they do a good job of describing Sherlock Holmes in the books and everything, but what you don't realize is he probably is a guy that has multiple neurological disorders and social disorders just because of the way his mind operates. And they full on bring that on in Sherlock, which I think is why everyone loves him, is because he's neurotic. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's that's the best contrast I feel towards the previous versions where Holmes was brilliant, he was eccentric, but still very affable and personal, um, so that you could or personable, so that you could get to know him, and he was a nice guy, he was a gentleman, and it was like he was very much a heroic character. And Watson, like we said before, was just very doddering, and even when there was nothing to say, he'd be in the back. Oh, he's got a quack. I didn't really think it was. Oh. Just like, really? We know you're here. We know it's radio, but we know you're here.
Yeah.
On screen, it was no different. But you're right. By absolutely making him more about these neuroses that these issues that make his character. It becomes the perfect yin and yang, and sometimes that's the best formula in a show where John, yeah, he's a soldier, but he's the heart, he's the human, and he's taking us on this adventure with this very strange person. And because he's so human and Sherlock is so detached, it's amazing how much they instantly need each other. That's one of the best things about the first episode.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise there's no logical reason for these guys to pal around.
Yeah. And I mean, and the way Sherlock is he wouldn't have someone around that's dead weight, like as the character is drawn out in the show. So they did a good job of making it necessary to have Watson around and having someone that actually is a good counterbalance to him and can pick up on stuff that he might miss and be social for him, be the liaison to the real world around him at times. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a handler, if you will.
Yeah, he attempts to handle, but it's great because it's wonderful that they call each other on their actions and sometimes their lifestyle. As we all, viewers of the show will know that Sherlock has no tact,
Mm-hmm.
but he will call Watson on bullshit. He's like, well, I know you're going to do this anyway because this is your pattern. And besides, look at this person. This and this and this adds up to this, and your choices are always this. So just do this. Shut up and let's go. But then he'll call Sherlock on interpersonal issues. and then start to kind of shift his lifestyle and his brain towards, a little bit, we'll call it loose compassion, loose empathy. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, other amazing upgrades for the show. For me, it's strikingly visual.
Mm-hmm.
The production value is, I don't know. Aside from a show like House of Cards, I've never seen anything like what BBC did, and add so much style to, like taking crime scenes beyond what CSI did when it first showed up. The amazing use of text on screen when it comes to thought processes, and also cell phone use, which is so prevalent.
Because I like in that very first episode when they're at the press conference and he sends out all the messages where he's like, this is an isolated event, and it's like bloop, 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 and everyone's cell phone goes off and it all pops up on screen saying, no, it's not. It's like I like how they do the visual. Like, it's a good way to get stuff across rather than just having someone like, boop, I got a text. What does it say? It says, it's like they cut that all out,
Right.
And it reminds me a lot of what they were doing in a lot of the J.J. Abrams shows. I know Fringe did it a lot, mainly on locations, where like they would superimpose like text and copy on to the picture and have it like integrate into the actual environment and stuff like that. It's hard to explain. But it's something that they kind of started doing in Fringe, and it's really cool. I like to see them. It's kind of comic bookish in a way, where you're trying to integrate it all into a visual medium. It's like lettering. That's honest to God what it's like. It's like lettering in a comic book, and it's really interesting to see them meshing like storytelling and visuals in that manner, and I really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, totally. There's it's the other thing that really is pretty impressive besides the technology. Because with so much technology, like with CSI, I mean, if anybody watches CSI and you're considering doing some kind of criminal act, you should just give it the fuck up right there, because they're going to find the smallest thing and nail your ass. That's pretty much what that show tells me. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Sherlock, how do you have this world full of technology and so many brilliant people, but this guy who's the human computer, essentially, how can you compete with that, and how can you make that interesting and still keep it modern and not have him just... The key is his brain, so he can't like rely on that, keeping that balance. I think they've done a great job of,
And there's none of those ludicrous, like, let's hack the public files so we can get the floor plan of this building and then break in and blah, 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 blah. There's none of that ludicrous, over-the-top, like, 90s computer hacking story stuff. It's all, and that's the fun thing. It's like to watch him, especially in like this last season, to watch him try to get into situations. Like there was one time where he has to get into a building, and the means that he goes to, the links that he goes to get into this building is just ludicrous, and it's really great. So
yeah, it's more akin to like a Cold War story.
Yeah.
A hacking story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, season 3 being the most recent, and I would dare say controversial. We'll get into that tomorrow's show, huh?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Sherlock.
But until then, if you want to join in the discussion with us, head on over to our Facebook group. You can actually find it Voice of the Republic group. If you can't find it on Facebook, go to vorradio.com. You can find a link there. You can also find information for the Republicom, which is you, the listener and or viewer.
Yes, you. We're looking at you.
That's right. So send us your voicemails. You can either call us at 407-409-8749, or you can drop us an email, voiceofrep@gmail.com, text or voicemail, either one in MP3 or WAV format. And if you need any of that information, again, like I said, vorradio.com. You can find links to our YouTube, our iTunes, our Stitcher. Go find us whatever way you want to consume us.
That's right. And no excuses. We're there. We're waiting for you to listen to us.
That's right. Every week, most of the time.
24/7. Come get it.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, that's it for today. So until tomorrow, we'll be back with Sherlock Season 3. May the Force
be with
your ass.
Oh, my ass?
Their ass is
their ass. My ass?